Welcome to the stream. I am playing Methods, the detective competition. I played some of this last year. Unfortunately, I did not finish. So, I have come back to start from the beginning and finish this game. It was a very interesting game. And I am interested in finishing it. I apologize in advance for... Oh! Looks like a couple of people joined up. Hey! Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh no! My audio was working before. I was moving towards, yeah, I apologize in advance for any, yeah. I might need to pull up my phone so I can see stuff faster. Uh-oh. And that doesn't help. No, I was heading towards my window. I'm in California, so there's lots of fires going on. So closing my window so so you don't have to hear the sirens all day. It was actually kind of nuts yesterday. There were sirens throughout the day. I think I can avoid the time delay like this. So I have two different places to read the text. But yeah, I'm playing this indie game I started last year. It's pretty interesting. I don't know why I didn't finish it, but gotta go for my stream. But I'm happy to see you streaming. Yeah! Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's start. Gonna start from the beginning. Chapter 1, Action Called, but I'm on hold. A tall apartment building blocked my view of the sky. I think... Oh no, 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 no! It's not what I wanted. Oops. Went a little too fast. A tall apartment building blocked my view of the sky. It was a giant, and suddenly I felt a small and pitiful man despite my vast experience, huge accomplishments, and excuse my honesty, dashing good looks. I'm Detective Hackett, and despite feeling dwarfed by the complex in front of me, I had a job to do. In this building resided the most diabolical criminals alive. There was a chance one of them would be walking free according to the note in my hand. I wasn't about to let that happen. I twisted the doorknob and stepped inside. I opened the door to a small antechamber. A young woman. Oh, that was a woman? A woman. A young woman in an official-looking suit with the name tag Red Greeter waited. I wondered if she was trying to be hip or something. But now wasn't the time for griping or feeling old. Do you have the note? I think so. I took my papery friend out of my pocket. She looked at it and glanced it over quickly before shining a flashlight on it. Good. It's legit. She ripped the note in half. Here's your name hashtag. Please wait for the first announcement of the day. I looked at the name tag. It read, Thinks with Fists. I like this job already. I began to saunter over my comfy-looking couches when the greeter grabbed me by the shoulder. Wait. I've been warned about you, Mr. Thinks with his Fists. The Game Master asks that you dispose of all weapons on your person before you take part in the contest. Fine. I dropped my Steed 46 in my Marl? And my Colt 45. It was a shame because I really needed them for these. I didn't want to be in a building with a bunch of murderous criminals unarmed. I wrestled internally for a few minutes. There was so much wrestling going on. Ugh. Yes? Wait, there's one more. I handed over the hidden gun and blew it a kiss goodbye as the greeter stuffed it into the bag mark confiscation. Hey, thanks for giving that up. Honesty goes a long way in this contest. I gave her half a smile I didn't really mean, and trudged through the doors to the main floor. What seemed to be hundreds of detectives milled into and fro. Collective body heat was staggering. In fact, I staggered briefly. I edged over to a couch, trying to avoid anyone smelly or overly loquacious. Another detective appeared to be attempting the same thing, a tall, dark-haired, bespectacled man. It's way more crowded than I thought it'd be. Cut to the chase. What do you want? I'd left tacked up the altar long ago. Ah, yes, the chase. If I had to guess, that's what you're all about. Judging from your meme hashtag, anyway. You know it. I hate these code names. They're pointless. Knowing that my real name is Coles doesn't change anything. It's just a bland way to be funny. Coles was irritating me, but I didn't really want to move. Thankfully, Coles seemed to either not know what to say next, or he didn't care. I was appropriately appreciative. I'm glad you finally shut up. I don't care what you're glad about. He was interrupted by a loud jingle. Hello. You can all call me the Game Master. Oh boy, here we go. Shh, be quiet. What a jerk. You're all a part of a contest where we pit the greatest detectives against the greatest criminals. In each stage, criminals will construct a crime scene, and then the detectives will solve it. Sounds good so far? I can't wait. Stage rankings will be determined by how quickly you complete each stage, with the fastest coming in first. Got it. Would you be quiet? Yeah. We will eliminate detectives and criminals each stage until we're down to just one criminal and one detective, who will face off in the final stage. If the detective wins, they get $1 million, but if the criminal wins, they will not only get $1 million, but they are also given parole. The room suddenly got quiet as we all realized at the same moment that because of the elimination process, the smartest, most dangerous criminal would be the one to walk free if the detective lost. This game master must have significant pull in the judicial system. Noted for later. I was starting to suspect that Coles was secretly an idiot like me. He was just more pretentious about it. Make your way to the elevators. Further instructions await you. You know, you don't strike me as the right kind of person for this contest. Oh? Actually, you might as well give up now. Cole shot me a cold, steely glare. These mysteries are more for calculative types, not intuitive types like you. Your name tag says it all. You're a man of action in a new mental-based world. You've got no chance. I didn't have time for his petty games. I headed towards the nearest elevator. The doors began to close. But then... Loser. What the... What the heck was that? Cole's words had shaken me, but I couldn't let it get me down. I had a contest to win. Ricotta for life? Ricotta for life. Ricotta for life. Okay. Cheese for... I don't know. Ricotta for life. Soft dish cheese? I don't know. It was the nervous-looking detective near the back of the elevator. Which floor do we get off on? Spoke too soon, Mr. Ricotta. He grimaced. We all shambled out into a long hallway. Nice place. Thanks with fists and ricotta for life. Please enter door 13. The nervous detective from the elevator followed me into the room as the game master directed the other detectives. So, what's your real name? Ricotta for life looked at the floor in embarrassment. It's Mouse. Detective Mouse. Detective Hackett and Detective Mouse. I'm sorry. I know it's... Oh, Ricotta for life. I'm sorry, I know it's stupid, but it's my real name. This was going to be a difficult contest to endure. I welcome you to stage 1. This mystery is called Eternally Checked In. Please take a moment to look over the case file. It contains a brief summary. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Turnip, or Miss. Mr. and Miss Turnip were checked in the Drop Dead Inn at 6:26 a.m. Miss Turnip left the hotel to eat breakfast. As she claimed, Mr. Turnip was found dead at 7:30 by the cleaner. The door was locked from the inside when the crime was discovered. You do not have access to the autopsy report. Mr. Turnip, Mrs. Turnip. Solve the murder in under 5 minutes and you'll be placed in the runners-up. But still make it in time to continue. Solve the murder. Solve it in under 1 minute and you'll be in the top 3. You mean there will be more than one detective who will be able to solve this in under 1 minute? Mouse. It's pre-recorded. He can't answer your question. Incorrect. I'm talking to you live. Well, color me surprised. You're right, Detective Mouse. There are 3 master detectives who we expect to hold top rankings in this little competition. So for the sake of fairness, if any detective other than them gets in under 1 minute, they can steal one of the top 3 positions. What? How's that fair to the master detectives? You wouldn't... asked that if he knew how good the detectives are. Frankly, if anyone else manages to get it under 1 minute, then they deserve to be ranked one of the best. Unfortunately, there's no time for further questions. The timer starts. The game master paused for dramatic effect. I rolled my eyes. Now. Only a few seconds had elapsed since the game master's announcement. I was already figuring out ways to slack off and leave it up to Mouse. But Mouse didn't seem too confident either. Okay, first things first. Let's see what sort of fish we'll be frying. Okay. I led Mouse into the apartment, which had been decked out to look like a hotel room. Oh ho! There's lots to do here. Music volume's all the way up. Let's start the investigation. Remember to finish in under 5 minutes or we'll get kicked out. Don't worry about it. I got more than enough brain power for the both of us. Let's do this. The balcony didn't lead to a view of the parking lot. Instead, it was a sad reminder that we were in an apartment pretending to be in a hotel. What's that notice say? It says don't jump off the balcony. Like I'd be able to in seconds to this impossible countdown. Yes, so please stop kidding around and solve the mystery. The smoke detector's busted. Good. I hate those things. I was only making a pancake. Come on. This seems like a personal issue. Someone spilled wine on the red carpet. On the carpet. Gross. They're letting it ferment in a sophisticated way. Only true connoisseurs know that carpet soaking wine gives it that richest flavors and the oakiest textures. I don't think that's right. Just having some fun, Mouse. He clearly didn't know the crime scenes were supposed to be fun. Someone just left their rain jacket lying here on the floor. This is supposed to be evidence, right? A good detective would probably examine it for other clues. Well? Oh yeah, let's do that. Aha! A bloody handprint. Wait, bloody handprint? The victim wasn't stabbed or anything. True. Time for my ultimate detective technique. I call it giving things a big sniff. Great. I gave the code a big sniff and instantly regretted it. Well, the jacket smelled like cigarettes. Cigarettes and wine. So, could that bloody handprint be wine? I don't want to smell it again to find out. But you could be right, Mouse. You could be right. He was right. Baseball tickets. What does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do with? That's what I've been wondering. What about those cigarettes? Never seen that brand before. Guess it's just something they made up for the contest. Misty Violets. Props. To the prop department. Someone tipped over the coat rack. Too bad. I'm not here to clean up someone else's mess. Okay, but it's probably part of the mystery, right? Oh, right. Or was it? Couldn't the coat rack have just fallen on its own? Maybe it isn't supposed to be laying on the floor. True. We'll have to keep that in mind. Oh, I did this one. Okay. That's the coat rack. That's the cigarettes. That's the coat. That's the wine. That's the smoke detector. That's the window. Door. What's behind that door? I don't know. Just open it, Hackett. Appears to be the bathroom. But looks can be deceiving. We'd better investigate. Right behind you. I don't see anything. Other than the bathroom being cleaner than my grandmother's candy bowl after she invited me over for a backgammon tournament. Did you check the sink? Yes, Mouse. Did you look in the tub? Yes, Mouse. The bathroom seemed to be there for realism. Alright, nothing to be found in here. You've been a great help, Mouse. Thanks. Too skittish to look in a bathroom? That was a bit too far. Victim, Mr. Turnip. Looks like those turnips didn't agree with him. Are there turnips somewhere in the room? Is that the solution? Just a joke, Mouse. I know. I was just trying to make a joke. Good thing he was a detective and not a stand-up comedian. Looks like we found all the evidence. Let's get to solving this. Yeah. So, what are you thinking, Mouse? Maybe he'd just tell me the answer. What am I thinking? I'm not sure. The bonus question in the case file says, name the relevant evidence. The problem is, every piece of evidence seems to be irrelevant. I don't know what any of it means. Oh. Maybe that's it. Everything is irrelevant. There's no mystery at all. Case closed. Let's get out of here. I don't think it's that simple. Hackfish. Hackfish? Mouse kept glancing and fidgeting nervously. He was obviously thinking about the 5-minute time limit, which is drawing ever closer. As for me, I was getting pretty tired, and being next to a comfy-looking bed didn't help. Maybe we should figure out how the victim died. That seems like the way to start. Hey, not a bad idea. Let me get into character. What? I'll pretend to be the victim. That way, I can get in their head and figure out the way they died. Is that your method? Method? What's that mean? Okay, I guess it's worth a shot. I lay down on the bed. Say you're a simple guy. You're married. You've had a tough day. You're away on a business trip. I settled into the foam mattress. First thing you try to do is get some rest. And you slowly fall asleep. Hello? Shh, I'm investigating. Haddock, we're running out of time. Right. Let's think this through, okay? We know the wife is the murderer, but how did the victim die? While Mouse was talking, I was eyeing the cigarettes. Hey Mouse, got a lighter? I tried to sound innocent, so he wouldn't suspect my intentions. I doubt he'd approve of smoking the evidence. Hackett, you're brilliant! Hey, you got my name right that time. The cigarettes! What was he talking about? I reluctantly got off the bed. Mouse, I know smoking kills, but it's not a quick process. That's true, but what do you think of this? Those cigarettes are the method of death, but not from long-term health risks. There's another piece of evidence that could speed up the process a whole lot. Mouse stutter was gone. Is that because he was excited? In any case, I had to figure out what he was talking about, or I'd be revealed as the idiot and I was instead of dashing, brilliant detective everyone thought me to be. The rain jacket. He'd been wearing the rain jacket while smoking. That killed him. Exactly. Huh? Exactly, because he was smoking in bed underneath that jacket. What? But what if he did that? He would have run out of oxygen and died. Oh. Yes, that's true. It would have been a very stupid thing to do. But look at the smoke detector. He was so desperate to smoke he tried breaking it. That must have been why he used the jacket. To keep the smoke from reaching the detector. Wow, good work, us. It's incredible what can happen with two studly detectives put enormous brains to work. There is one problem, though. If this murder was actually an accident, then how was the locker room created? We'll have to give the door another look. Sounds good? This was great. I was getting a free ride after all. Darn, it's locked. Guess we'll have to explore the hallways another day. Hackett, please. We only have a few minutes. We have to figure out why this is a locked room mystery. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I'm such a liar. Do you have any idea how this door was locked from the inside? I thought you said you knew. That was more generally speaking. The door had been locked when the crime was discovered. But was it locked with a key card or had it been bolted? Maybe this bolt was locked from the outside by wrapping a rubber band around it. You're thinking of the other kind of hotel lock. Wait a second. I think I think I've figured out how it was locked from the inside, which means I've solved the case. We've solved the case, Mouse. Together. Right. Was he being sarcastic? Mouse has stumbled onto something important. Or maybe he was just stumbling. So usually in a locked room mystery, the killer creates the locked room to make the crime seem impossible, or to create an alibi. But this time, it was something else entirely. Interesting. He was good at building up the suspense. I could wait to hear the solution. He was glaring at me. Was I supposed to say something? Right. I know what I'm doing, and I'm a very smart detective. If I said it enough, it would be true. It wasn't working. I actually come up with a real. I had to actually come up with a real answer. What was Mouse saying? There was some strange reason for why the room was locked from the inside. An accident. Ah! The locker room was an accident, just like the murder was. This whole mystery is one big stupid accident. Yes, that's what I think too. Really? Mr. Turnip killed himself by accident. And the door was locked from the inside by accident. The clue is in the wine print on the coat. Miss Turnip was the one drinking wine. Mr. Turnip was busy smoking. In the morning, she was probably hungover. She didn't realize he died. So she tried to hang up his coat, stumbled out the room. But she'd put it back on the coat rack so sloppily that it fell over as she left. Hitting the door's lock on the way, knocking it into horizontal lock position. Oh, that's a lot. Care to do the honors, Hackett? Wow, he was actually pretty good. I was lucky to have been paired with him. Absolutely. Wasn't there something else? What are you waiting for? The bonus question. We almost forgot the bonus question. Oh, you're right. Which piece of evidence is irrelevant? That'd be the baseball tickets, obviously. Even I could figure that out. Yeah, you're actually right. That's gotta be it. Submit. Actually, right. Who did he think he was? You are correct. Your score on this mystery is 100%. Your answer to the bonus question was correct. I'm surprised. I thought you failed pretty hard at this. You even almost gave up at one point. But you didn't. You prevailed. Logic always wins. Stop blabbering. Hackett, don't interrupt the game master. Thank you, Detective Mouse. It's not nice to be interrupted. Sniff, sniff. Come on, that's overdoing it. Ahem. Excuse my outburst of emotion. Anyway, You ranked higher than expected time-wise. Unfortunately, you did not make it to the 4th floor, which means that you two will be swapping partners. The 4th floor detectives get to keep their partners in the first stage. In subsequent stages, all detectives get to do so, provided, of course, that both partners actively help with deductions. I'm sure you understand. Ouch. Way to build us up, then smash us down. We've gotten through the mystery. I could scarcely believe it. We make such a great team. Yes, but I was the one doing all the work. That's fair. Even though Mouse wasn't going to be my partner next round, I was cautiously optimistic. I was excited to see who I could lean on for deductions next. After solving the first locked room mystery, Detective Hackett has moved on to an intermediate stage, the waiting room. What answers await him there in the depths of this mysterious detective contest? Gathering snippets. Okay. It was 5 minutes after the game. Excuse me. Oh, what happened? Did it reset? Looks like it reset. Yep, it reset. Okay. It was 5 minutes after the game master had obliterated any hope I had of finishing the competition. I was already irritated at the last minute switch. Mouse had been the perfect mix of stupid yet smart. Too stupid to realize I wasn't doing any work and smart enough to solve the cases for me. Well, I didn't expect that. It's okay. I'll make it up to the finals and then there'll be a greater chance of us getting paired up again. He gave me a tentative thumbs up. Yeah, that won't happen. Oh, I guess not. Yeah. I subtly cut our conversation short. No point in being sentimental. Besides, I was busy wondering what my new partner would be like. Suddenly, my sharp mind trap snapped shut upon an excellent idea. Maybe I would be able to find one of those top 5 detectives in the waiting room. I didn't really care if it was someone in 6th or even 10th, but if I got paired with somebody really skilled the next round, would be cake. Of course, the selection process was probably as random as a penguin on a Hawaiian beach, but it couldn't hurt to know thine rival, or whatever. I scanned the crowd of detectives for someone that looked like they knew something. When it hit me, a terrible smell. There was a large detective standing in the corner. His partner had somehow held out against this guy's putrid cologne, and they'd solved the case in time to make it to this room. With a smell like that, I bet he'd done nothing but watch the other people and listen in, since nobody with olfactory organs would sit near enough to strike up a conversation. If all he did was listening, my incredible intuition told me he was the one with the answers. Answers were what I needed. Took a deep breath and headed towards him. He is the Sinky guy? Hi, so what's your name? I'm Detective George. Is there something I can help you with? He had a deep voice that matched his heavy-set body type. I'm Detective Hackett. Ew. What? My breath had run out, forcing an awkward sound from my lips. I cleverly hid it with a short cough and continued. Ahem. I was wondering if you'd heard anything about the fabled top 3 detectives. Why would I tell you? Because I'm super trustworthy. See this smile? Don't you just trust it? I gave him a stunning smile, which had been said to make news anchors kill themselves. Wow. Well, it's not like it's sensitive information or anything. Okay, I'll tell you what I know. Great. The third highest is incredibly eccentric. I don't remember his name, but it's a bunch of numbers. The second highest is said to be able to tap into criminals' mindsets, solving the crime through an extreme form of empathy, or so the rumor says. The number 1 detective is no secret. Her name is Red July. She solves cases by looking at the big picture while simultaneously concentrating on the small details. Her great imagination fills the gap, creating causes for the effects. I hope that helped. Goodbye. Hold on a minute. Yeah? Can you point me to any of these other guys so I can talk to them directly? I have a few questions I need to ask them. Couldn't even if I wanted. We're not in the right waiting room. There are 4 floors in this building, each have its own waiting room. When the first round begins, it's random. But now the ranks have been assigned. The top 15 detectives are on the 4th floor. We're on the 2nd floor, remember? Wait, you're saying that after the first round, the game masters ordered the floor from the least skilled to the most skilled, with the 4th floor being the most skilled? You got it. I see. Then the only way I'll talk to them is if I make it within the top 15. No more like 6, since the cutoff list shrinks every round. At your level, 6 is pretty optimistic. What is that supposed to mean? If you get stuck with good partners, I'm sure you'll do fine. See you in the next round. I waved him off drowsily. My brief date with the hotel bed made me sleepy. A detective who looks at the big picture but still sees the details. That was the right detective's method. It didn't seem deductive or calculative. It seemed intuitive, like my method. Maybe there was a way to become as good as the greatest detective in the competition just by doing what I've done my whole life. I had a feeling Coles was full of crap. And maybe it was true after all. It was definitely something to think about. My eyes scanned the room. Maybe even if I couldn't talk to George, there'd be someone else I could talk to. Maybe one of them. How's it going? We're not really supposed to talk to detectives. What? But you could talk to me, right? I'm trying to be polite, Mr. Thinks with Fist. Our amazing romantic comedy story was off to a great start. I have a question about the names. Are we allowed to give out our real names? No. Absolutely not. If you did that, you'd be expelled from the contest immediately. I'm just kidding. So does that mean you can tell me your real name? Haha. No. Well, this was getting awkward. Without warning, the game master's musical tone chimed out. As always, it was a lovely opera singer with throat cancer. My God. This announcement is not to announce the next round, but rather to celebrate the previous one. I introduce to you the criminal duo that created Eternally Checked In Mastermind, Rose and Mastermind Sparks. A door opened in the back room, and the two sleep-deprived criminals approached. Their beady eyes stared into my soul like a working pair of X-ray specs. There was an awkward silence as the detectives in the room wondered if they were expected to clap for them. Finally, an older detective stood from his place in a particularly cushy couch. How exactly does the other side of this competition work? Pals cleared her throat. It's fairly complex, but I'll try to explain in a plebeian manner. I hated her. For us, there are two phases in every round: invention and replication. In the invention phase, we create a crime using props provided by the game master. The invention phase is ranked by skill, not time. Then, in the replication phase, the criminals race against the clock to replicate the crime the winner invented to place in the rankings. Like you, we also rotate partners in between rounds. Being good at replication helps you stay in the contest, but winning invention means you become a celebrity of sorts and rise to the top of the ranking. That's right. I'm famous now. Me, Mastermind, Pal, Rose. It looked like Rose had plenty to say, but the usual dirgeful melody coming from the speakers cut her off, and she began her next sentence. I'm sorry, but the question period will have to be discontinued as the second round of the first stage is ready. What? I had more to explain. Please make your way down the hallway to your assigned number. That's not fair. I didn't even get to answer a question. Mastermind Spark drifted out of earshot as I was forcibly pushed by the crowd into the hallway. The doors were slamming me all around me. I had no idea where to go. Hackett, you're in room 12. Oh, thank you. I hurried inside as fast as I could. Turns out, it wasn't worth it. 3 guesses who my new partner was. These glasses hide steely eyes. You're late. I find tardiness remarkably annoying. It was my new partner, Coles. Oh yeah? Sue me. I'd already suffered through some elitist crap while hearing Rose talk. I was about to make a few more insulting remarks, but before I could, that grating assortment of notes was heard once again. Detective Hackett and Detective Coles, I welcome you to Stage 1. Round 2. This mystery has been titled, How You See Me. Please take a look at the case file to understand the context of the crime. Mr. Ant and Mr. Disco. Mr. Ant was found dead in his manor at 6:30 a.m. Only one suspect was arrested, Mr. Disco. However, Mr. Disco claims it must be suicide since there's no way for him to enter a locked room where Ant was found. You do not have access to the autopsy report. The door was locked with a complex mechanism that can only be opened from the inside. How did Mr. Ant know Mr. Disco? He paused, probably waiting for questions, but neither I nor the thinking man had any. The investigation begins. Now, apparently, the game master hadn't yet given up on his dream of being a melodramatic cornball. Just to be clear, I'm not going to help you solve this case. What? You're my partner. We work together. You weren't planning on working together. You were just going to pretend to be trying and let me solve it for you. Yeah, I was. But I guess you're not smart enough. What? Why else would you still be on the second floor? Only stupid people stick around here. If you were smart, you'd be up there on the fourth floor, right? Actually, I developed a strategy. You see, I solved the last case in under a minute. Good enough to challenge the top 3. I've solved this one already as well. However, I don't want to be stuck with a stupid partner, so I'm waiting for a good one before I challenge the master detectives. Wait a minute. Don't the partners rotate every round? What's the point of waiting for a good partner if you're going to lose them right away? Actually, when you're in the top 3, your partner doesn't change anymore. It doesn't surprise me that you don't know that, since they don't tell you anything unless you ask. We walked over the corner and lay down. What are you doing? I promised myself if he started snoring, I'd kick him. I'm waiting. Did you think I was going to challenge the top 3 with a partner like you? When the timer's almost out, I'll call out the solution and then I'll wait for the next mystery. I'll continue this process until I find someone who isn't a complete simpleton. Out of all the people I could have been partnered with, I got an uncooperative jerk who refuses to carry the workload himself. Kind of like me, but less handsome and modest. If I wanted to move up in the rankings, I'd have to convince him to solve the case right away and fast. We'd already wasted more time than a do-it-yourself car wash. Okay, you got me, or do you? What if I've already solved it as well? All I need to do is shout out the answer right now. You're an idiot. I've already imagined every possible scenario. If you did know the answer, there'd be no disadvantage to me, since you would prove that you're smart enough to move on to the top 3. What if I shout out the wrong answer and I disqualify both of us? Every wrong answer is ignored. The only answer that matters is the right one. So I'll just randomly guess until I find the answer. I wasn't grasping at straws, but maybe he'd buy it. Doubt he'd figure it out in time to do any damage. The minutes passed, so said we'd only get runner-up spot at most, and I'd be able to change partners instantly, since the rotation only locks if you make the top 3. Nice try. I too sat on the floor out of ideas. I glanced over at the dummy. Suddenly it all seemed a little sad. Coles was ignoring the competition and playing with the rules. It reminded me more of a criminal than a detective. More minutes slipped by. It felt really unproductive to just sit there, and frustrating. The whole time there was a slight smile on Cole's face. He really ticked me off. But what ticked me off the most was that there was nothing I could do. After 7 minutes had gone by, Cole stood up carefully, taking his sweet time. He cleared his throat. There were a few more times for good measure to spite me. The door locked from the inside when the crime was committed because there was no killer. It was suicide. The man stabbed himself with glass from a picture frame which was broken, as you can see from the evidence provided. He smirked in my direction. Jingle was heard again. Detective Coles, there's a reason why you're not on the 4th floor, and it isn't because you're attempting to manipulate the system. It's because you're wrong. There was no stab wound on the dummy, therefore he was not killed by a shard of glass. Cole's jaw dropped to the floor. If you want to stay in this competition, you'll need to submit a correct deduction within the next minute and 50 seconds. Cole clutched at his face in a panic. Haha, it served him right for being a conceited jerk. Then I remembered, if he didn't solve the mystery, we'd both get the boot. Suddenly, my panic mode was activated as well. I thought you said you solved it before I even walked in. That was a lie, you fool. It took me 4 minutes to come up with that answer. I did all the mental work when I was lying on the floor. And you forgot to check the body? Is this amateur hour? Coles hung his head in shame. There was barely any time left. There was only one thing to do: solve the mystery. There was something suspicious next to the dummy. A broken picture frame with a few shards of glass sticking in the wood. Curses! Maybe there was a clue in the dummy. Mr. Ant had a roughed up look, like he'd fallen in coal, or had been burned. Smoke asphyxiation. Try again, Hackett. There was another clue in the room that I wasn't considering. Time to make a more thorough search. There was a strange patch on the wall. Maybe there had been a painting of Mr. Ant. Maybe there could be a painting of me. Who wouldn't love that? This case was already tougher than the last one, what with practically no evidence. There was one difference, though. Was there a window in the last one? No, or rather, it wasn't as large. It's part of the mystery, I'm sure of it. Think, Coles. Coles stumbled backwards until his back rested on the wall. It's just, now I can't think of anything else. Well, just don't give up. Don't just give up. I can't do it. We only have a minute left. Well, he was useless. It was hopeless. Hopeless. I fell to my knees, clutching the broken picture frame. My face was affected in the broken glass, which had been polished so much that I could see every scowl in full detail. At least I'd go out looking incredibly handsome, man. I solved it. Awesome job, me. If you solved it, then spit out the answer before we lose. Go on, I'll follow your lead. Make your deduction. I couldn't believe it, but Coles was actually trusting me to figure it out. Or was he just being lazy? There wasn't really time to get annoyed about it. It was time to make a deduction. I added the evidence I discovered to the case file. Go ahead, Cackett. There's very little time left. Make your deduction. This case is actually pretty simple. It clicked into place as soon as I realized that this isn't glass at all. It's polished glass. Wow. So what? That means this piece of evidence is actually a mirror. That does change things. I was sure it was glass. Me too at first. It's weird that I thought that, but anyway, from the victim's state, I think it's safe to say he caught on fire. What? You can't be sure. Well, what else could it be? I don't know, but you're making a lot of assumptions. If you don't, you'll never solve this mystery. Moving on. What's a good way to light someone on fire? The answer is obvious. A magnifying glass. The killer, Mr. Disco, focused sunlight through the magnifying glass, and Mr. Ant was fried. Ha! That was a congratulatory ha, not a derisive ha. Thank you. I accept tips. Hurry it up, Hackett. So, that brings us back to the mirror. The mirror. Here's how the mirror was used. Ah, crap. I hadn't figured out what the mirror was yet. I would have to rely on my patented wing it style. To reflect the sunbeam. The mirror reflected the sunbeam which hit Mr. Ant while he was by the bookshelf. Wow, that actually made sense. Didn't expect that. He caught on fire, died because couldn't undo the lock in time. I think that wraps up everything. Don't think I'm impressed, Hackett. This was an easy mystery. It's only the first stage. I smile to think of the terrors that await you. If it was so easy, why couldn't you solve it? Cole's eye twitched. It was time to put a big red bow on this mystery gift. I felt pretty good about it. Something I missed. There must be something we need to do, but I don't know what. I believe you're thinking about the bonus. It's not really necessary, but I will do it anyway. Extra challenge is to figure out how Mr. Ant knew Mr. Disco. If we're looking at the solution to the mystery, Mr. Disco was probably nearby the window, so he could have been the gardener. However, the window is high off the outside floor. I think we can assume the same is true for the house in the mystery. So he used a ladder? No, shut up. If we assume Mr. Disco was in the house next door, What seems to be suggested by nature of the mystery is Mr. Disco was Mr. Ant's neighbor. I wonder if you're right. We'll find out soon enough. Congratulations. You've solved the case. Your final score of this mystery is 100%. I'm very impressed. But who cares? My opinion doesn't matter. However, there is some bad news. You're dead last. In 45th place. Stop waffling about with your deduction, and Coles, maybe stop lying on the floor instead of solving the mystery. It's a terrible idea. Coles looked like he stepped in a mountain of roadkill. You're going to need to improve quickly, or you'll be eliminated. Please keep that in mind going into round 3. Now please make your way to the elevators. You've both been demoted to the first floor. Guess my chance to meet the top tier of detectives was all but gone. All because of Coles. What a jerk. Thanks for demoting me with your long-winded deduction. Not. Excuse you. Who was it that lay on the floor for 7 minutes again? Oh, you were counting? Why weren't you solving the mystery instead? I admit, I didn't have an answer for that one. I'm looking forward to switching partners. So am I. Good thing this nightmare was over. Partner switching may be random, but that doesn't mean you won't end up with the same partner. It's a 22 to 1 chance, but it's not nothing. What? Why would you say that? Well, if it annoys you so much, maybe it won't be so bad. I must admit, you weren't entirely useless. It was begrudging, but it was something. Was something? Maybe I'd find out in the next round. Hello? Testing? Cough. I'm getting too old for this crap. The watching room. In a large monitor, there's with its screen nearly covered in a post-it notes. I could just barely see the last few contestants on the second floor heading into the waiting room. Who's that one? I pointed to a generic-looking detective in a stereotypical fedora and a trench coat getup. The only way he could have been more cliche is if he wore a deerstalker over the fedora. Detective Hackett. He's on your floor, right? Yeah, he's moving to your floor next round. He's a bit of a drongo. You got that right. Who shows up in a detective competition in a trench coat? It's so unprofessional. Try so hard to be professional around here. It's a detective thing. Whatever. He turned back to his desk. We were in the watching room, a hidden room on the 5th floor, which was restricted to contest runners only. Great. The floor's clear. I pushed a large button on the front desk of the large button on the desk in front of me that read Clear Floor 2. Hey Greg. I don't mean to step out of line, but you just pushed the button for my floor. Haha, my bad. Guess you were too slow to stop me. He made a half-hearted fist and shook it at me lazily. Don't make me angry. I slid back over to my desk, which was 4th floor 1. It was a boring desk because everybody took too long to solve the cases. At least I'd only have to hold it until the 3rd round ended. That's when we shut down floor 1, because by then the cutoff line was short enough. Hey guys, you've got to come over here. She ran the 4th floor desk, which I was actually jealous of. At least we got to announce the opening contest rules. Me, Clark, and Kane, who ran floor 3, crowded around Millie's desk, gazing at the monitor. Unlike our desk, Nellie's was more organized, and she didn't use post-it notes. Instead, she wrote all over her arms. Oh! Which were currently covered in detectives with strings of numbers next to them. No. That's the one to watch. Why? She doesn't look special to me. Are you just saying that because her name sounds like yours? What? No. I'm saying that because look at the huge jump she took. She made it from the 3rd floor after eternally checked in and actually moved up to the 4th floor during How You See Me. Wow. It wasn't just her partners? The video shows her doing more work than her partners she's been paired with. Thanks for reminding me. I need to announce the partner pairs. Sure thing. She flipped a few switches at her desk. On the 4th floor, contestants know their partners when they enter the waiting room, giving them a slight advantage over the other floors where contestants don't know who they're paired with until they enter the mystery room. That gives them a little time to prepare. How did Detective Honor do this time? Honor had been paired with July last round. It seemed to go pretty well. Honor's method is pretty useless this contest. I hope she doesn't drag July down. July's held the first part of the spot of this whole competition. She'll be fine. I know. It's weird how the top 3 spots have been struck with the same detectives from the start. It's always like this. 3 is the magic number. People see those 1st, 2nd, and 3rd spot, and gap naturally occurs because they're intimidated. So it isn't the top 3 detectives who are necessarily the most skilled, right, Clark? He was the oldest and had helped run run 2 of the previous detective competitions as the game master. That's right. Okay, guys, back off. I'm gonna make the announcement. July and Honor, Slakes and Asper, 772 and Everreeve. She pressed the button. Wait. Emin, Ryan, Sunho, Baines, and so Dent. Can't see the rest of it. She pressed the button and said announcement jingle and flipped the switch. A countdown started on the LED display. When it was finished, a light turned on that read live. She started reading off a prepared list of paired detectives when someone caught my eye on the screen of the monitor. I caught Clark's attention with my coffee mug and whispered quietly to him. Hey, who's that? Detective 772? It's no wonder you don't recognize him. He always manages to hide from the cameras until the last minute. It's weird how he knows where they all are. Ah, Detective 772. She was finishing the announcement. Is paired with Detective Nell. The live light went dark. That'll be interesting. The lucky rookie and the intelligent eccentric. Does Nell even have a method? Don't know. She won't last long if she doesn't. Everyone in this contest needs the star power of a special gimmick to make them stand out. By the way, Clark, I'm going to need you to write up agenda notes for the conference of that quadruple murder scheme. Sure, but why can't you do it? Your floors are more mellow than mine. Turns out losers aren't happy campers. It's always a good thing to plan ahead. If being a game master taught me anything, it was that. Oh no, when was the last time I saved? Oh, I need to save. Chapter 6. Trickster versus Tricks. Hmm. I think I'm gonna stop right here. Just because whew, this is a lot. But it is a lot of fun. I should probably download this too.